Hi everyone. So today we're going to be looking at cumulative frequency. So this kind of follows on from box plots because there's a lot of median, like interquartile range stuff, but it is a slightly different topic and there's a bit more focus on interpreting the graphs as well than there is with box plots. Okay, so firstly we're going to look at the actual wording. So cumulative means a running total, so it's kind of like an accumulation, so it's a similar sort of word to that. So it's the count up to that amount. So if we've got our frequency table, so we've got the number of certificates someone had, so this is the one in the top left, number of certificates someone had, and then how many students got that number. So 4 students got 0 certificates, 9 students got 1, 7 students got 2 certificates, 1 student got 3, and so on. So a cumulative frequency table would be how many got up to that amount of certificates. So if we reveal that, we see that we work out the cumulative frequency by just adding up as we go down the column. So this first one is 4, that's because 0 students got 4. So then where it's got 1 certificate, that is how many students got up to 1 certificate, so either 0 or 1. So to work that out, we add up the number of students that got 0 and the number of students that got 1. So that's 4 add 9, which is 13. And then for the next one, number of certificates is 2, so it's how many got up to 2 certificates. So we do 4 add 9 add 7, which gives us 20. And then we keep going down. So basically what we're doing is we're adding up the frequency column each time. So we start off, we do 4, then we do 4 add 9, then we've got 4 add 9 add 7, then we've got 4 add 9 add 7 add 1, all the way up. And then at the end we've got the total of all the students, which was 30. So then really common questions with these. So how many students had up to 2 certificates? So we look at the cumulative frequency for 2, and that was 20 students got up to 2 certificates. Up to 3 certificates, that is the cumulative frequency at 3, so that would be 21 for that one. So we can see that we've got 2 certificates and then only 1 student got 3, so we could just add 1 on. Would be the other way of doing that. Okay, so one thing we're going to need to be able to do is convert from a frequency table to a cumulative frequency table. So there's kind of 2 edits that we do with this. We're going to edit the left column, the height, to represent the fact that it's up to that amount, and we're going to edit the right column to change it from frequency to cumulative frequency. So we can see here that the lowest height we get is 130. So all of the heights we're going to be considering are 130 to whatever it is. So the first range is 130 to 140. So the second one, the maximum it could be is 150. But because we're now doing cumulative frequency, it's anywhere from 130 to 150. So we represent that in our height. And so all of them, because it's cumulative, they're going to go from 130 all the way up to the top value of that box. So we can see we're going to end up with ones like this. So they all start at 130 and then they go up to whatever the maximum of that one is. To work out the cumulative frequency, it's the same idea as before. So the first one is the same, and then from there, to work out the cumulative frequency, we're going to just keep on adding whatever the frequency is. So this one is 4 plus 11, which is 15. Then the next one, we're going to add on 24 to that, so that'll be 39. Then we're going to add on 22, and then we're going to add on 19. And so the last, the sort of final one of the cumulative frequency, that is the total amount in the group. So if this is heights of people, this is out of a total of 80 people. Okay, so let's have a look at one more. So if you want to do this one just to check you've understood it, you can do. So with this one, we've got our frequencies. So the cumulative frequency, I'm just going to add up like that. So we're just adding up each time. Although actually I think with this we should have actually changed the, because this is a time one, we should have changed the lower bound as well. But we haven't done for this, but we should have really drawn another table for this. Okay, so for this one, we've got time again. So we're basically turning what we saw already in the previous one into a cumulative frequency graph. And this is really useful because this is where we can do all that estimating from. So all we do is we start off, because our lowest possible time is 9.6, we start off with a 0 at 9.6. Then from there, we're always going to plot to the highest section of the range, so 9.7. And that is because it can be up to 9.7. So what we're going to do, we start off with drawing our first 0 point at 9.6 because we know no one got less than that. And we've plotted a 1 at 9.7 because our cumulative frequency was there. Then our next one, it goes all the way up to 9.9, so we're going to plot it at 9.9, and our cumulative frequency by there is 5. So we're going to plot that, and then again we're going to plot one at 10.05 of 15, and we're going to plot 32 at 10.2. And one thing to notice is the cumulative frequency always increases, it can't go down. That is because it's accumulating, it's always adding. So it'll always be going upwards or flattening off, but it won't ever go downwards. Okay, so now we're going to look at how we do the estimation, and this is the key points. So based on what we saw last lesson, we know that the median is the middle one of the group. So with this, we know that in our total group we had 32 because that was the maximum cumulative frequency. So the median should be the 16th one out of that 32, so halfway along. So what we would do to work out the median is we go across from 16 and then down. So 16 at the cumulative frequency, we go across and then we go downwards, and that gives us our measurement. So it's about 10.07. So what we can see from that is it's not exact, and if you draw your cumulative frequency graph a bit wonky, or if you draw the line, you're going to be a little bit out. So you don't need to worry too much about this. As long as you've drawn your graph pretty accurately, and as long as you've drawn your vertical and your horizontal line pretty accurately, you will be in the range, because you will be given a range. So maybe with this one, the range would be 10.05 to 10.09. So a bit on either side. So as long as you're relatively accurate, you should be alright. Okay, so lower quartile, we saw that was the bit that was 25% of the way through the data, or there was 25% of the data below it. So with this one, again, we can see we've got a total of 32 people, or 32 people I think it is. So we need to do the lower quartile of that. So we need to work out a quarter of 32, which is 8. So we're going to draw a line across from 8. So the lower quartile is, so we go across from 8 and go down, so we get 9.95. So in this case, they've done lower quartile to be the lowest time, so it's actually the fastest runners. So it would depend on what sort of units you've used. So upper quartile, again, we're going to have to think 3/4 of the way through. So that is the lower quartile, which was 8 times by 3, so 24. So it's 24 we're going to go across from. And then we go down, and we read off our diagram, so that is 10.13-ish. Again, not super accurate, but accurate enough that we can get a good estimate. Okay, so lastly, with the interquartile range, I just need to replot that, hold on. Okay, so lastly with the interquartile range, we've already got what we need. We need the lower quartile and the upper quartile. To work out the interquartile range, we just subtract the lower quartile from the upper quartile. We get 0.18 seconds. So when you've worked out all these, it's quite easy to work out the interquartile range from that. You can just do the subtraction. Okay, so for this one, we're going to be looking at how many runners had a time less than 10.15. So cumulative frequency graphs are really good for doing estimates like this as well. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be, instead of going from the y-axis, we're going to be starting on the x-axis, and we're going to get up from 10.15 and then go across. So basically, when we're looking for how many runners had a time less than 10.15, we're looking for how many runners had a time between 10.15 and 9.6, which is the fastest. So we're going to be looking at the range. So this one's already at 0, so that's our bottom end. And to find the top end, we need to go upwards from 10.15. So, oh, that's not worked, just bear with me. So we go up from 10.15 and across, and we're looking between the range of 0 and 26. So relatively easy, we get 26, because going from 0 to 26, that's how many people fit that, which is 26. So now we're looking at how many runners had a time more than 9.95. So with this one, we're going to be going the other way. So 9.95 is here. But this time, because we're looking for how many had more than, it's going to be between the range 9.95 and 10.2. So the region we're going to be looking in is going sort of between there and there, so obviously a bit neater than this. If you're doing it in a test, you'll need to use a ruler. And then going from 9.95, again, just bear with me. So we need to go up and across. So we're looking between 8 and 32. So that would be 24 runners in this case. And the last thing we need to be able to do with this, I'll use a different colour pen, would be estimating how many runners had a time between two different times. So to do that, we're going to need to do kind of what we just did. So again, between 9.8 and 10. So we're going to need to go up and see how many went more than 9.8. So again, using rulers for this. So it's about 3. And then to 10, we had, oh, went a bit wonky there. So that would be 11. So it's going from 3 to 11. So that is 8 people would be my estimate for that. But again, as I say, you can have a bit of wiggle room with your answers there. So that would be, oh, let me just switch the pen off. So 8 people. So it goes from 11 to 3, or from 3 to 11, and that is 8 runners got within that range. Okay, so two things that students get mixed up quite a lot is cumulative frequency and frequency polygons, which you will have seen earlier down the school. Basically, the key differences are the y-axis. So on the cumulative frequency, you're plotting the cumulative frequency. It's always going to be going up, and you're adding up as you go along. With a frequency polygon, you don't need to work out the cumulative frequency, you're just plotting the general frequency. So it's two different things that you're plotting. So they'll end up looking quite different. So you can see cumulative frequency always goes up, whereas the frequency polygon can go down as well. Oh, so I didn't put the points on. There we go. So quite different, they show different things. Okay, so here's one that you can pause the video on, have a go at. I think this is on the extra sheet I've sent out as well, but the main task is on Dr. Frost. So if you want to just have a go at this on the slide and then go to the Dr. Frost, that's fine. If you want to have a look at the extra sheet with the extension questions on first, you can do that as well. So basically what I want you to do is finish these questions. So part A is just finishing the cumulative frequency table from the frequency table above. Part B, you need to draw it. And then part C, you need to work out the median. And then I'll put the answers up in a second. So pause the video now, have a go. Okay, assuming you've done that, next slide is up now. So cumulative frequency, all we've done there, we've added up the frequencies as we go down. So we start off with 8, then we've got 8 plus 17, then we've got that plus 25, then we've got that plus 40, then plus 22, then plus 8 on each row. We've then plotted that on our cumulative frequency graph. And this last one, to do that, we had to work out that we've got a total, so a cumulative frequency of 120. So that means our median is going to be at the 60th one. So we're going to go across from 60 and down. And we're going to get 32, 33-ish. So approximately 33. You would have a bit of a range in your answer there though. So 32 or 34 would definitely be fine. Okay, so as I say, the main task is on Dr. Frost today, so if you want to go ahead and have a go at that now. If you do need to come back and revisit any parts of the video, that's great. And I've also attached to Firefly some extension questions as well, which the first ones are about the same level of difficulty as the Dr. Frost, but the later ones are a little bit trickier. So if you finish the Dr. Frost and you feel like you've got a bit of extra time left, go ahead and have a go at the extension stuff.